Hey everyone, Giselle here, and welcome to my vlog number 5 for the NEWTs Readathon. As you've probably noticed, I'm not really doing this by specific days, just whenever I feel like there's enough, or more than enough content for each vlog. But today is now the 22nd, and it is 7 p.m. And I figured I'd let you know where I'm at so far. So I'm not going to go over all the NEWTs that I have right now because I reprinted out a new one of these sheets. And I think I'm going to go through and color code it, and I'll show me doing that. And so then when I do that and have a clear vision of what I've done, because a few things have shifted around and stuff, once I do all that, I'll let you know. But for now, the books I'm currently listening to, so you guys will know from my last vlog, the struggle I've been having with finding a romance mermaid book. And I said I really didn't want to listen to Of Poseidon, but I've started and DNF'd 3 other mermaid books. So I'm listening to Of Poseidon by Anna Bakes. I just wasn't in the mood for it, and already I'm cringing very hard. I'm only 25 minutes into it, and some of the things she's saying, I'm like, oh dear goodness, please no. So we'll see if I actually finish this, but if I DNF this one as well, I think I've decided that I'm just not gonna go for this challenge. It's counting for the challenge, not for the NEWTs, but for the summer romance book bingo of reading a romance book with mermaids in it. And I'm this close to losing it for this challenge. So anyway, and this is coming for the NEWTs, I believe, of a book that has magic in it. I just need to finally freaking get done with this challenge. Anyway, so I just started this, and hopefully I don't hate it too much. And then the other thing that I'm currently listening to is Lady Susan by Jane Austen. This is actually a Jane Austen that I haven't read yet. It's just one that I kept putting off. I've read her 6 novels, and then I've read Sanditon, but then I never read Lady Susan. So I'm finally gonna do it, and I'm really excited. I'm about an hour in, and it's so different than what I was expecting, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's really funny. So that's all that, and then I just went to the library once we got home, and I picked up 2 books. These I'm not planning on reading this month, but I may start them this month potentially. I'm not going to be, I checked, and I don't think I'm gonna be on register tomorrow or Saturday, so I probably won't have time to read during work. But I picked up Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and this is in the full color illustrations, and I think they're so pretty, and it just added an extra layer of beauty to these books. So I've read the first book in this edition. I'm gonna read this book, and then I'm gonna read Farmer Boy next. That's the order that I prefer to read them in, even though I know this is technically number 3 according to the spine. But anyway, so I picked this up, and this I'm going to be reading. I was planning on starting it early September. And then the other book that I picked up is another one. So basically these are both for me continuing on with series. So I reread Little House in the Big Woods in 2015, I think, or 2014. So I need to reread. I read it in 2015, so I need to reread this one now, and I'd like to reread all the books in the series in this beautiful editions. But I didn't own this book yet in this edition. I own 2 or 3 of them. So when I get to those, I can use my copies that I already have. And then this one is Hatter M, Volume 2, Mad with Wonder by Frank Bedore, and this is the second book, obviously. In the Hatter M series, this is a companion graphic novel series to the novels The Looking Glass Wars, and I have all the Looking Glass Wars books, but I don't own Volume 2, and so I finally decided to check it out from the library and continue on. I did really enjoy Volume 1 when I read it, but I read it back in 2014, so I really need to continue on with this one as well. I'm planning on reading a ton of sequels in September, and trying to get through as many as I can and not start any new series in September. That is the goal. So we'll see how that goes. So I picked these up now so that I am all set to go. Plus, if I need anything physical to read, if I finish all the other things on my TBR, then I can use those. And then I have one more thing that's really exciting. It's really exciting for me. So I've been wanting to order Jeffree Star lipsticks for years because I've heard they're so phenomenal. I've been wanting to so badly, but I always felt like really uncomfortable doing it because of certain things. But recently Shane Dawson came out with that series on Jeffree Star, and it kind of like solidified in my mind that like, yes, I'm gonna buy these. So I bought them. This is part of my birthday present to myself, or I guess Christopher's birthday present to me, whatever, what have you. And I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I've been wanting these for so long, and as soon as this like specific bundle that I bought was announced back earlier this year, I believe, I've been wanting to buy this, and I was so like afraid that they'd go out of stock before I like decided whether or not to buy them. And so since they were still in stock and it was my birthday, and since that series just came out, I was like, okay, I've got to do it. So I finally have it. I'm so excited. I only ordered these on the 17th. It's not like I ordered them before my birthday. They didn't take that long to get here. All right, let's go. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. So here it is. And it's all rainbow. Oh, that's so perfect. Oh my gosh. I'm flipping out. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. If any of you guys know, I really love colored lipsticks, and since I've been wanting to try out this formula, I figured there was no other way than to get the Equality bundle. So this is like basically a rainbow set. It's so pretty. Oh, some of them are starting to pop out a little. Okay, so there's a pink, a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, like a tealy color, a blue, and a purple. And they're just like little tiny itty bitty little lipsticks. I don't have any yellow lipstick. I don't have any orange that's this tone. I have like 80 billion red lipsticks. Oh, this pink, I feel like, oh, it has like a gold shift in it. Interesting. None of the others do. I don't wear a ton of hot pink, so this is probably like the least exciting to me, but the gold shift might like boost it up. An awesome green. All my greens are like a lot darker than this, so it's nice to have a brighter green. I don't have any of this color, this bright blue. I do have a few blue lipsticks. I don't know how close they are to this one. And then the purple. I don't have any purple like this either. So like this is so exciting. I'm kind of dying. So I guess let's swatch some of them, or all of them. And they're very pigmented. I can't wait. I'm probably most excited for the yellow, and I figured I really wanted to buy the white lipstick that he has as well, because I think it's so cool and it will look awesome. But I decided I can go back and buy the white later, maybe for like a Christmas or something, if I really like the formula, which I'm sure I will because everyone else seems to like it. But I'm probably most excited for the yellow lipstick out of all of these, to be honest. And here they are all swatched out. They're so pretty. I do really love this green one as well. That might be my second favorite. And this blue, I feel like I do have blues a little similar, but I feel like this is more purple toned, like more of like a true indigo. And I'm so excited, you guys. I've been waiting for these for years. I never did it, and I finally have them, and they come in this beautiful box, and I'm really excited to try them on my lips. But I have to go help Chris make dinner now that I've unboxed my stuff, so I'll have to go do that, and I'll try some on later. both happy with it and not. Okay, so I am happy with it for the fact that I'm doing pretty good. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 O's, 2 A's, and 3 E's, which is pretty freaking good. But I wanted to finish something today and I haven't yet. And this I could finish in a day, this I could finish in a day, this I'm halfway through so I could finish that in like half an hour. This I could finish tomorrow if I really pushed. This I could finish today. Like, a lot of these are like one-day reads, and I did change out. So initially, if you looked at my like original one, I marked these off as read because I like got over halfway through those books and then DNF'd and wasn't sure if I'd have time. But I put them back on my TBR because I figured I might as well since I have plenty of time. But I just really didn't feel like reading today. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I just wasn't in like a super reading mood. I think it may be like the books that I'm reading. Like, I am liking Lady Susan, but at the same time, like, I really have to like slow it down and like think about it a little bit more because it's a ton of different like letters from a ton of different people, and keeping track of all the characters, especially in such a like a short book where there's so many characters. It's interesting, so I have to really slow it down and like think about it. So I feel like that's a good like morning time book for me. But it's doable, but I really wanted to finish something today. So I think I might actually read Yotsuba right now and like get another volume of that crossed off and then try to finish like 2 things tomorrow, potentially, and then I don't work on Friday and I'll have so much time to read, and I think I'll actually end up finishing a lot of books on Friday. So that's the goal for now. Today's Wednesday, by the way. And yeah, I didn't end up writing the authors in here because I was just like, oh, this is going to take too much time. But this color scheme, like, it kind of gives you a little bit more of an idea. Initially, I was going to do green as my O because green's my favorite color and like I wanted to be proud of the O's. But I freaking messed it up, so oh well. That's crazy how much my TBR has changed, yet stayed the same? Yeah, I can't speak. I don't know, it's really interesting. Like, so much of it has changed, but a lot of it has stayed the same. Obviously, I couldn't, like, move things around too much because of the 2 other, like, readathons that I was doing over the summer. The Summer Romance Book Bingo for BookTube, run by Sissy and Sarah, and then the Ripped Bodice Book Bingo, run by the girls at the Ripped Bodice. But, I don't know, I had a pretty much set TBR, but I don't know, things are going well, but I kind of want to like finish all the books on my TBR so I can like start going on to like my September sequels TBR. And while I was like filling this all out, I was watching Julie and Chelsea's live stream, and Contemporary-a-thon is in September, and they were talking about it and giving suggestions and all this stuff, and like I can't take any of them because all the blue highlighted ones are my currently ongoing contemporary series. And honestly, I could cross off a few more of those as well. Like Anne of Green Gables is technically contemporary because it was contemporary for the time it was written and stuff. So like a few more of these would fit. But I know what I'm going to be reading during that week, and I'm so excited, and I just got those books in the library, and I'm just like so ready for September to be here, and it won't be so freaking hot all the time, and I can start wearing tights again. Like, I'm really ready for the weather to change. But I am really liking my lipstick. So this is obviously the green one. It's actually the color Equality, so I guess this was the one like specific for the collection, and it's really pretty. It does have a little bit of transfer. I don't think you guys will be able to see. I just kissed my hand. It's just like slightly green, but it's not like that mark. That is from me drawing on my hand. I often like test pens at work before starting to write, and like I'll write it on myself because I need to like write something specific and I can't mess it up at work. So that happens a lot. But I don't know, I like it, but it does have like a small amount of transfer. Just be aware if you're like thinking of buying this and you really want that green color. It's not like the most transfer proof one, but it's a lot better than like, I mean it is a brighter green, but it's a lot better than like Dr. M from ColourPop and stuff, which Dr. M like is so ridiculously flaky, and this one is like, it actually went on really nice. I did do a double layer though, in case you're wondering. Like, it wasn't quite opaque enough with one layer. Like, I could have gotten away with it, but I just wanted to see how it would wear with 2, because often when you like double up like liquid lipsticks, it starts looking super janky, and this one is fine actually. Anyway, I'm gonna read or listen or do something, but this room really needs to get cleaned. Actually, really quick before actually doing stuff, I'm gonna write out a list of my TBR. So this is the one that I did like a week or so ago to try to like get my thoughts in order, so I'm gonna write a new one. I like doing this and then I can like see it in a list, and I'm gonna use my unicorn pen. Yeah. Alright, so I just finished listening to Lady Susan by Jane Austen. It was not what I was expecting at all. She's crazy, and she's insanely manipulative, and I kind of loved her. I really like this one. I don't know, I feel like now that I know what to expect, now I need to sit down and reread it. I need to get a physical copy of the book, and I think that will help as well, because like I said, like it is a bunch of like letters, and it was a little bit hard to keep them all straight without like physically reading it, but I did really like it. I don't think I could ever, from this point onward, ever give a Jane Austen novel less than 4 stars, because her writing is just so like, so I really enjoyed the writing. I laughed a lot during the story, and I don't know, I liked it a lot. It was good. I mean, if you're a fan of Jane Austen, I think you should give it a try. It's very different than her other books though, and it's a lot of like very gray characters, which is very interesting. So it is actually 11:20, I didn't say, and I finished that. So I don't know, I should go to bed soon. I don't really feel tired. I've been cleaning a lot, and I'm feeling much better about the room because I felt kind of like a pig the past week, but didn't want to do anything about it. But I feel much better now with how things are going. But I would like to keep cleaning for another like 20 to 30 minutes. It just depends on when Chris comes in here, because I'll obviously turn off the lights and let him go to bed. But I did also just plan out while listening to the end of Lady Susan, because I was starting to feel anxious about my TBR again. I did just plan it out again. This is tomorrow, and then I wrapped back around because I didn't want to waste paper, like more paper, by going on to another week. But I can actually finish everything on the 30th, a day early, so I'm feeling better again. I was like starting to feel anxious, but it's okay. And I like planned it out so that I'll finish at least a book a day. And so like tomorrow, even though I probably won't finish up Poseidon, I'll try to get to Rappaccini's Daughter, and that way I can like complete another short book, and etc. Not including the couple physical books that I have left on my TBR, like the Cinderella story, which, in case you were wondering which Cinderella I'm talking about, this is gonna be for my book that's foiled or shiny, because the spine is foiled, and it's really, really beautiful, like a classic reprint, I guess you'd call it, of one of like of the Cinderella that came out in the 50s, and the art is just stunning. So I think I'll probably get to this tomorrow or the next day as well, because it's just super, super beautiful. I have a bookmark in there, but that's not the page I'm on. I haven't started it yet, but it's so stunning. And I was able to find this at a thrift store for like $1, and I'm so excited to read it. But this is kind of like that needs to be organized. It's a hot mess, but I finally put my books on the shelf, and this is kind of like a lot of my TBR for the next like week or two. And I also have this really cute little mermaid that like sits on the edge of the shelf, and she is sitting right next to a Poseidon, so it's kind of perfect. And I got her at the pirate show in Myrtle Beach when Chris and I were there a month ago, and we ended up getting a mug. I don't know if you've seen it in any clips at all, but like a mug that's a skull. And we ended up getting that, and we ended up getting that mermaid. But now it's time to keep cleaning and try to listen to a little bit more of Poseidon. I really want to hit the 2-hour mark tonight, so I only need to listen to like half an hour more to do that, because I'm listening now 2 times speed. I don't know. I kind of want to like slap these characters so far, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, so it is now exactly midnight. I should go to sleep. I have work in the morning, but I reached my goal for the day, which is only 5 hours. I really should have reached it earlier than this, but I've been watching YouTube and playing around, and yeah, but I finally reached it, which is good. I don't know, this book, I did read the first, like, I don't know, 50 or so pages, like 4 years ago, or more. It was a while ago, so I remember everything that's happened so far. It's ridiculous, and the whole, like, mating part with, like, the mermaids is, it's, like, very, like, literally, this one girl says that she doesn't ever want to get a mate. She never wants to get married, essentially. She never wants to be in a relationship. She wants to stay single her whole life. And this guy just, like, goes behind her back and, like, gets bonded to her. That's super rapey and really gross, and I'm not here for it. And there are just, like, some other things I'm just like, oh my word. But I don't know, I am interested to see where it goes, I guess, but I'm not here for a lot of the things that are happening, and they're really weirding me out, but we'll see what happens as the book continues. Like I said, I remember everything that's happened so far, and I know I've gotten a little bit past the point that I'm at right now, so I guess tomorrow I'll get into, like, the new stuff and see if there's anything that, like, really catches me. But now I'm gonna go to bed. I'm getting really tired, which is good, so I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, so it's Thursday night now. I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm really happy about that. Today was a great day at work. The day went by really fast, and I got to work with one of my coworkers that I have only maybe met like 4 or 5 times, even though she's worked at the store for like maybe 3 months. Our shifts just never line up, but we actually worked together today, and she's fantastic. So I had a lot of fun, like, with her and getting to know her a little bit while we were working on stuff together and, like, shelving books. So that was a lot of fun and really great, and she's currently reading Spinning Silver, so I'm excited to hear what she thinks about it, and, like, it was just a great old time at work today. But what isn't great is my reading. So I don't know if I said, it's 7 p.m. Oh my gosh. It's 7 p.m. and we've been home from work for like an hour and a half almost. I've just been laying on the couch watching YouTube videos and eating macadamia nuts and almonds because they're so good. Anyway, so for Of Poseidon, I'm a little bit past where my book market is. I've gotten a bit past like the halfway mark. I hate it, and I'm DNFing it. It's... ugh. So much of it is bothering me. So basically there's like arranged marriages, but like super forced arranged marriages that are really uncomfortable, to the point where this guy literally gets married to, they call it mating. This guy like gets bound to this girl without her even being there and against her like express wishes, because too bad, you have to mate, you don't get a choice. So gets forced into marriage at the age 20 to this guy, and this guy, he's super rapey. He's like constantly following her around, touching her without her permission, kissing her without her permission, sneaking into her bed and sleeping in her bed with her without her permission, and constantly touching her. And it's really, really creeping me out. And this is like gonna spoil halfway through the book of a plot, so be warned of that. But he continues to do this and harassing her. And I was like, But the thing is that he's like a good guy. He's like the best friend of the male main character. He's like the best friend, and he's really cool and funny and great and blah blah blah, except for the fact that he's a creepo. And then there's like a point where she's like gonna go ask to like get unbound from him because she doesn't want to be connected to him. And then she doesn't even do it, and like the whole time she's been pushing him away, like literally bloodies his nose and his lip and like constantly like hitting him and attacking him because he's like forcing himself on her. And then there's a scene later in the book where, and it's like, yeah, stuff like that happens, but like don't make it seem like she's the crazy one. Just because she doesn't want to sleep with you, that doesn't make her crazy. That makes her, there's no justification for that. Like, she just is how she is. Like, and I was like, I would be more okay with this if they don't turn it on its head and make her actually want to end up with him. Like, if they don't do that. Like, if she wins and doesn't end up with him, but then she's like gonna go ask to get them unbound, but then she doesn't because she's had a change of heart. She decides she does want to be with him. And so then he decides to try to make her jealous instead. And so then as soon as she's like coming up, he like grabs another girl, and I'll describe it. I'll not describe it, I'll read it. He says, so the main character and her love interest, and then the love interest's sister and that other guy. This is the couple that I'm complaining about. But that guy and the main character, who are both technically with other people, but not fully yet. They're not actually dating yet. Anyway, except for he's like technically married to this other girl. He says, do you trust me, Emma? Emma's the main character. I nod, but something tells me I shouldn't have. My instinct is confirmed when Torov pulls me against his chest and lowers his mouth to mine. When I try to pull away, he grabs a handful of my hair and uses it to hold my face in place. That's sexual assault. That's not okay. And what makes it worse is that she literally laughs it off later. She's talking to the guy that she's actually interested in, Galen. He asks her, so how long has this been going on, after he sees them kissing? And she says, how long has what been going on? You and Torov kissing? Oh, about 10 minutes. And then she starts laughing. What? And he turns on her, what could be so funny? He kissed me, even though she literally tried to pull away and was struggling against him. She's laughing. He kissed me, and you think that's funny? Oh, you don't understand, obviously. But it worked, because now, after that guy was kissing Emma, now the girl that was, like, technically, like, married to him, like, against her will, is like, oh, never mind, I do want him. And so then she goes and has sex with him. I'm so angry. I hate it. I can't. No, it's so rapey, and it normalizes and justifies sexual assault. And I'm not okay with that. Like, I don't care if it's rape or if it's just touching someone without their permission or kissing them without their permission. That is all sexual assault. Yes, on different levels, and yes, some of it may be worse than others, but it still is. And it's so creepy that this narrative is normalizing it. It's just like, oh yeah, you can kiss someone without their permission, and who obviously doesn't want to kiss you and who struggles against you. And this is the same guy that's like harassing that other girl. He is so creepy, and I can't read about him anymore because I hate him. So this is getting disposed of instantly and immediately, and it can go burn in a fiery pit. And I can't. It also, I mean, it's from 2012. It also uses the expression sitting Indian style, which is also a very outdated. And I'm just so done with this garbage heap. So, goodbye. And let's talk about what else I'm going to plan on reading then. So I'm going to start Norse Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is a bunch of short stories. I don't know how many. So it looks like there's like an introduction, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. and I wanted to split this up over 6 days. So I think maybe instead I'll read like 3 stories a day, but if I read like 2 one day, that's fine, and I'll like spread it up over like 5 to 7 days or something. We'll see. So I want to get through the introduction and maybe the first couple stories tonight just to get started. So that's a thing. And then the other book I'm going to be working on is The Princess and the Goblin. This is by George MacDonald, and this is a reread for me, but I haven't read it in ages. I'm really excited. Some of these illustrations are very interesting. You can like tell. I think this was published in the 80s, and like, whoa, her hair. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm tentatively excited. I've just listened to like the first chapter, which is very short. I'm this far through the book, and the writing style is really interesting, and I think I might actually enjoy this a lot more than I did initially, and I'm more excited to just like look at it from like, not super analytical, because I'm not like the most knowledgeable person in classic fantasy, but I think it will be really like interesting. So I'm excited. So those are my like 2 current reads, and then I might pick something else out to read that besides this to like have a 3rd one going. So short stories every day like I was doing with My True Love Gave to Me, and then this and another one. But I'm just so absolutely disappointed in this horrible book. Why is every mermaid book out there horrendous? And I don't, why? I also unfortunately owned 2 and 3 in this series as well, and I think I would have liked this a lot more if I had read it 4 years ago. I still probably wouldn't have liked it, and I read a lot further in it than I realized. I think I got to the like 150 page mark, and I've only just gone past this. So everything is stuff that I've read before because it was all familiar, but it's just not, no. So, I know you guys are probably like, well, what are you going to read for your mermaid book for the Ripped Bodice Summer Romance Bingo? I'm not. I'm just going to count this as my mermaid book. I did cross the halfway point before it like really crossed that line that I was just couldn't deal with. But I am just still going to count it for that, but I will find another book. This was going to count for my book for the Newts, with a book with magic in it, which I don't think I'll have a hard time finding, since like I would say well over 50% of the books that Christopher and I own have magic in them. So I'll just choose one of those, and I'm not worried about it at all. Especially since I should be able to get a lot of reading done tomorrow. Like if I push myself, I should be able to finish up like 3 or 4 books tomorrow, which would be awesome. So this and this.
Oh, it's that series that you're getting rid of?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the ones you were reading today that you didn't like? Oh, okay. That's so interesting.
Yeah, this is our DNF / I hated it / duplicate / just don't need it pile.
Yeah, we're taking this all to the book barn eventually to trade in for free credit.
Yeah, this is our unhaul section. They're all unhauls for good reasons. Like most of the books that I get rid of are because I DNF them or I hated them, and I think it's the same with Chris.
Yeah, whenever I get rid of a book, it's because I don't care to own it anymore. There's no point in us having our. We have so many books in this apartment now, and so little shelf space. Even though we just bought a bunch of new shelves, we have so little shelf space that. Why take it up with books we don't care about anymore?
Yeah. And some of them are just like duplicates. Like I freaking love this series, but I found a nicer edition that isn't a library copy. So like that's getting rid of. Like Christopher's copy of like The Diviners is like damaged on the spine. Mine wasn't, so we're getting rid of that. Like it's all like for good reason. Not all the books in here we hate, but those ones I do. Update. So it's now 8:15 and I've been listening to The Princess and the Goblin. I'm not listening on 2 times speed. I was listening at like 1.7. I don't always listen super fast. I mean, that's still fast for some people, I guess. But I've been listening to The Princess and the Goblin, and I'm this far through, and I'm actually really liking it a lot. Oh my gosh. I'm finding, like, the narration style of this extremely charming. The actual narrator, it's not a very good copy. Like, he's fine, but it's extremely staticky. But the narration, like, writing is quite charming, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I don't know if I necessarily like love the message. I feel like I'm more on like the goblin side than I am the human side, because the humans are like trying to invade the goblins and force them further and further down and like flood them out or whatever. And it feels like kind of like crusade-y, which is not great, but at the same time, like, it's very charming and interesting, and like once I learn more about the goblins and stuff, I'll be able to like judge more. But we're just seeing the goblins from the human standpoint, and I'm like, humans, you aren't making yourself look that great. Anyway, it's making me really want to go watch the movie though. I don't know if any of you guys know the movie. I think it's from the 90s, and I loved that movie when I was growing up. I'm sure it's terrible, but I really want to go rewatch it now because I'm like, oh, I'm remembering so much of the stuff in this, like, from the movie. And from my dad reading it to me, but mostly from the movie. So, anyway, I feel like I'm making pretty good progress, and I'm actually liking it. Who would have thought? The art in this book is, like, super funky. I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's like, these are supposed to be really scary, and some of them just look kind of ridiculous and derpy. But that is freaking terrifying. It's like, it reminds me of the creatures from the Dark Crystal, but like a cat form. Also, this is like super, I feel like 80s. He has a bowl cut. This is a king, and he has a bowl cut and a giant beard. This book is, the illustrations in this edition are so weird. Alright, so it is now Friday morning. I've been awake, I don't know, since like 6 or 6:30. It's now 9:30. I didn't really start reading until 8 though. I was just kind of like playing on my phone and laying in bed. But I just finished The Princess and the Goblin. I got through a little more than half yesterday and then finished it up this morning. I loved it. Which you guys are probably like, oh my gosh, Giselle, you've been talking about how much you hated this book for a long time. I know, and this is why it's really important to like reread books, because first impressions aren't always right, and unless there's something like genuinely like really wrong with the book, like endorsing sexual assault and stuff like that, and like it's important to give books second tries, and I'm so glad I did. I mean, this is normally, so I have been rereading some like old books that I really disliked when I was younger. I have been rereading them in the past like year or two. I have made a point to like go back and reread some books that I've really hated, like City of Bones and stuff like that. And I hated them again, and possibly hated them more than I did the first time. And so I was starting to feel like maybe I should just stop rereading books that I've hated in the past, because obviously it's not working for me, but this proved me wrong, and now I feel like I need to continue to do it and reread those books that I disliked as a kid, if there's a reason why I think I should reread them. And this one I just adored. What is this hair doing? Ugh. Anyway, I loved almost every second of it. I don't understand why she lives in like a house castle, but besides that, I really enjoyed it. Curdy is a bit of a brat, but he sees the error of his ways and genuinely feels bad and apologizes, and I just adored it. And Irene, I mean, she's young. She can get a little annoying because she is like a child, but she's awesome, and her grandmother is awesome, and it's literally, she saves herself, and she's incredible, and like Curdy like helps her a little bit for the most part when she like realizes what's going on, because she doesn't know what to do because nobody's letting her know anything. They're keeping her in the dark, but as soon as she understands what's going on, she can totally take care of herself and like escapes by herself multiple times and is fantastic. I really liked it. I liked the writing. I was so engaged the whole time, and even like picturing the movie, which is very interesting. Like the illustrations and the voice acting and stuff is very like early non-Disney animation, like kind of loud and obnoxious and ridiculous. Even picturing that, like, I just, oh my gosh, I loved it so much, and I'm really excited to read the sequel as well. There's a book too, called, I think it's called Curdy and the Princess, or Curdy and Irene, I'm not sure. I guess like one of my small quips about this as well is that they do call her the Princess I think more times than they actually use her name. At like one point I was like, wait, does she even have a name? Oh yeah, she does. Just nobody calls her that. They all just call her the princess. Besides that though, I don't know, I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm so glad that I've reread this book because I don't know if I would have, or anytime soon, if it wasn't for this challenge of reading a book that I think would fit in at the Hogwarts Library. And I really think this one would, because early fantasy and just great and wonderful, and I loved it. It's also written, I guess George MacDonald must be British, because I love that there's like a goblin prime minister. I was chortling about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, mid-1800s fantasy, there's a prime minister, no big deal. Anyway, I loved it, and I really recommend picking it up if you are at all interested in it. And now I want to go read some of his other books. I feel like I've heard this is one of his best, that some of his other books are like not as easy to get into, but I'm so happy. But now I guess I should get a little bit further in Norse mythology. I didn't read my sections yesterday that I was supposed to read. I did section it off. I didn't read my section yesterday because I was enjoying The Princess and the Goblin so much that I didn't want to put it down to read something else. So I didn't, and I just read as much as that yesterday as I felt like and didn't read anything else. So this, I should try to get through like a couple sections today. And I don't know if I'm like super in the mood for this. I wonder if I should choose something else for a mythology book instead. I don't know. Maybe I'll start listening to something else, because I don't know, like, I really like Neil Gaiman and I really like his narration, and he's narrating it himself, and I am excited, but at the same time, I don't know a ton about Norse mythology in general, so I don't think maybe this is the best time for me to read this. I don't know. Christopher said that he didn't like this one at all, but I've liked everything that I've read by Neil Gaiman in the past, like, 2 years. The only book that I really didn't like by Neil Gaiman was Stardust, which I want to reread again. This is a book that I read like 10 years ago and hated, so I'm like, oh, maybe if I read it now, I'll love it. Who knows? Yeah, maybe I'll try to find a different book though, because like, I'm just like not in the mood for this, and I don't want to make myself feel slumpy, so we'll see what happens. But I have the whole day to read, which will be great. So I've come inside Christopher's office because people are mowing really loudly right outside my window and right outside the living room windows. So this is my last refuge. Hopefully they don't come around here. Anyway, since we last talked, it is now 11:30, and I have finished in its entirety Rappaccini's Daughter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. This I read for my challenge to read a book under 200 pages. I think this edition is like 112, but I listened to it, so whatever. It was just over an hour. It was, I think, an hour and 15 minutes, and I don't know. The reason I read it was because one of the people in this book is a character in The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, which is one of my favorite books ever. I love it. And so I wanted to read this to like get the origin story. So I think without that, I wouldn't have been interested in with this book. And like, I can appreciate this book I can really, really love this book for making it so that that character in the other book exists. But the story itself didn't wow me. It was interesting, and it was an interesting idea, but I just didn't find it like the most engaging. And it's like hard to get like a story that's super like fleshed out and feels real and developed when it is so short. So I don't know. I'm giving it 3 stars. I like it, but I don't think I'll ever love it. And then besides that, I wasn't sure what to do for my book about mythology, but I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I guess I'll just read a King Arthur book. I wasn't sure if I should read Howard Pyle's The Story of King Arthur and His Knights, because I've been really wanting to reread this, but then I also really wanted to be rereading The Once and Future King by T.H. White. I specifically just want to reread The Sword and the Stone because I am not a very big fan of books 2, 3, and 4 in this set, which I've read them before, and they make me mad and annoyed, so maybe I'll reread the other books at some point, but I really did enjoy The Sword in the Stone, and it's one of my favorite Disney movies, so I did decide to start this one. So The Sword in the Stone goes to where the second bookmark is, and I'm as far as the first bookmark is so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I forgot how ridiculously funny these are, which, like, the movie is really funny, so it makes sense that the book that it's based on is also funny, like, because they got a lot of the material from it, but I, like, didn't think about it, and I haven't read this for a good while, and I read it kind of quickly, I think the first time as well, and didn't, like, pay attention quite as much, but I'm super enjoying it, and I've been laughing a lot. Archimedes is, like, my favorite character. He's so funny. Basically, Wart, he has, like, Archimedes on his shoulder, and they're not really friends yet, and then Archimedes decides to become his friend, and he introduces himself, and Wart says, "I shall call him Archie," and Merlin says, "I trust you will do nothing of the sort." "Is it wrong?" says Wart. "You might as well call me Wool, or Ollie," said the owl sourly, "and have done with it. Or Bubbles," it added in a bitter voice, and I was dying. Oh my gosh, he's so funny, and I really like it, and I am very happy to be rereading it. So I'll just reread the first book though. I'm only like 4 hours through audiobooks, and it's already like noon, so I really need to get on it. I need to get most of my reading done before Christopher gets home from work, because we're planning on going swimming again tonight, and I don't know how much time I'll have. So let's see if I can buckle down and get some good reading done. Dang it, I thought I was filming and I didn't, but I just colored in Rappaccini's daughter and the Princess and the Goblin. Oh, and I still need to fill in Lady Susan, so I can do that. Here we go. But from here, that means that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books to finish. Totally doable. Alright, so I just finished reading Cinderella, my book that is foiled, because the spine is foiled. It was adorable, just like I suspected. I feel like sometimes it followed the movie, the Disney movie, very, very closely. And I feel like sometimes that was a little bit to its detriment, because it left in some details that I was like, the story could have done without, and you could have like maybe tried to talk about other things a little bit more. Anyway, I still really, really enjoyed it. It's absolutely stunning. The illustrations are gorgeous, and I really liked it a lot. So now I'm going to move on and read volume 9 of Yotsuba. I'm already this far through, so I have this much left to go. Updates. The Sword in the Stone is so funny. I've also started Old Man's War by John Scalzi, which is also funny. I'm only a tiny bit in though. We'll see. I plan to get to like at least an hour of this today, hopefully. But I'm excited because I haven't read any John Scalzi besides For Fuzzy Nation, which is my favorite science fiction book ever. I don't read a lot of science fiction though, so I'm thrilled. And as you saw, I also continued on in Yotsuba Volume 9 and just finished it, so I'm feeling really, really good. I don't think I love this one quite as much as the other volumes. Like, this is probably my least favorite so far, but I still loved it, and it was still really funny and really great. And the hot air balloon section is in this one, and that was really funny. I don't know, it's just so great. I really, really recommend this manga series if you like slice of life. I really, 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 truly recommend this because it's so funny, and the characters are so lovable and amazing, and it's just the best thing ever. But now, I don't know, I'm still in the mood to physically read, so I think I'm going to try to pick up Mad with Wonder by Frank Bedore. This is the second book in the Hatter M series, second volume in the Hatter M series, and I don't know, I might count this for my book set in the past. I might count this for my book that's not the first in a series. Like, I could count it as several things, so I think I'm just going to read it and like see where it fits in, because I am really in the mood for continuing on with this, and I've been wanting to do so for like 4 years, so I'm finally going to do it. So Christopher is going to be home any minute, so then we're going to go swimming. I figured I'd update you on progress, which isn't much because I fail. I've listened to 3 hours of Realms of Mist and Ash by J.S. Malcolm. This is the second book in the Feywish Chronicles, and I'm enjoying it. I don't know, I was very anxious going into it because the first book ends on like a huge cliffhanger, but I really liked the first book. It was funny and engaging and intriguing, and I just really enjoyed it. She is probably one of my favorite characters ever. I swatched lipstick in case you're wondering what that is. She was just so hilarious, and I'm getting a lot of the same sass in this book as I was in the first book. Maybe a little bit less because she's kind of really depressed for certain reasons, but I'm enjoying it. But I'm 3 hours through that, and I don't think I've made progress in anything else. I think I'm an hour and a half through Old Man's War, and that's, I think, it. And I don't know if I ever, so Old Man's War, I'm a little bit further than that. And then I don't know if I ever updated, but I am about halfway through Mad with Wonder by Frank Bedore, and I think I'm going to count this for my book that's not the first in a series, simply for the other book that I was going to count for that is still not off of hold at the library, and who knows if it will be by the time that I need to read it. So I'm just going to count this one. But my neck was starting to hurt, and I don't know when I'll finish it, maybe Sunday, but I am liking it. There are a few like fat jokes that have been here already, but besides that, I'm enjoying it, and I do really enjoy, like, there's like thought bubbles that the artist like gave the characters, and they're usually quite amusing. But I am enjoying it, and I do like all the little like quotes in it from like writers and stuff. I don't love the art style, but it's definitely like a personal preference thing. I can like tell that it's really cool. It's just not like my personal style, but I am liking it, and I love Hatter, so I want to continue seeing his adventures. I can hear Christopher coming in, so that means we're going to take off. Alright, so it is now 9:10. I haven't read it all. We got back like 2 hours ago, and then I took a shower, and then we made dinner, and by we, I mean Chris like did all the hard work, and I just like made the vegetables. and then we ate, and we just finished eating, and now Chris is gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna try to turn on an audiobook. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to finish Realms of Mist and Ash tonight. That would make me feel really good, and I'm gonna hang up clothes because there's so many clothes to hang up. So I'm gonna do that while listening to that book, and hopefully I can finish it. I have 3 hours left, so it should only take me an hour and a half. I think I am listening to that on 2x speed. But really quickly, while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to share a video with you guys that I really love, and it's probably one of my favorite videos that I've seen on BookTube recently. I adored it, and that was from Libby Stevenson, and it's her rating how historically accurate book covers are for historical fiction, She did two. She did one for just like general historical fiction and fantasy, and then she did one for romances, and they are brilliant. She's so knowledgeable, and I don't know, I'd say on a scale of like 1 to 10 of like how knowledgeable I am in like historical clothing, I'm probably at like a 4, like above a ton of people, I think, but still not very great. So like I knew some of the things she was talking about, and like I knew what they were, but I didn't necessarily always know how things looked. But I did know some of the stuff she was talking about, but I learned so much, and she just like knows all the stuff, and it's really cool, and she like makes her own clothing and does stuff like that, and is like a costumer, so it was just like so interesting, and they're both wonderful. I more preferred the romance one because I thought it was really funny, and she was like getting quite annoyed with how horrible some of them were, but some of them were actually pretty good. And I'll link them both down below if you want to check them out, but if you're at all interested in them, if they sound at all interesting to you, please watch them because they are wonderful. Diana, I feel like you would especially like them if you haven't watched them yet. I think you'd be interested in them. Anyway, I watched both of them yesterday because I missed the first one when it was in my subscription feed, but the second one came out yesterday, and so I watched that, and then I went back and watched the other one. Just really, really interesting videos that I really, really loved a lot. And she is planning on making more, so I do want to like leave a comment with like photos, but I'm not sure what books to choose, so if you leave comments and stuff on her videos, maybe she'll choose some of your books to go over. Anyway, now it's time to read and clean. So I just finished listening to Realms of Mist and Ash by J.S. Malcolm. I don't know, I liked it. I really enjoyed like this character, but I didn't enjoy this book as much. It's like a 3-star book for me. I liked it, but I enjoyed the first book so much, and I think she just has more opportunity to be snarky in the first book, but she is super like, she does some pretty badass stuff in this one as well, which I appreciate. Although there is a sexual assault content warning and trigger warning for you. A character is almost raped, but it's prevented last minute, but you still see the stuff leading up to it. So just warning. But I don't know, I liked it. I'm excited to move on to the second one. This author, though, she just likes her cliffhangers, which, I mean, is fine. She writes very short, like, succinct stories, so it makes sense that, like, she wraps them up really nice, but makes you want to go on to the next one, which at least she doesn't, like, drag it out and add in all this extra stuff. I'm excited to move on to the third book, which is out on audio so far, but books 4 and 5 are not. So who knows when those will come out on audio. But I will move on to book 3, hopefully soon. But either way, I don't know, I liked it, and I'm glad I read it. So now I have another, I think that was my book with magic in it. So I actually just got 2 more NEWTs because of that, which is nice. So I should fill in and fix my sheet. But I also just, like, rearranged and wrote out, like, my TBR for the week. The green line is starting for tomorrow. And yeah, basically, I'll have my NEWTs TBR done by the 30th instead of the 31st, which is awesome. I feel so good about that. As long as I stay on it, and that's only for meeting like a 10-hour goal on Saturday and Sunday, which is also nice because, I don't know, I just was not in a reading mood today. It was so weird, and I don't know, I'd really like to go on and continue on with the second book to The Princess and the Goblin as well, and just like wrap up that little duology, because I was just enjoying reading it so much. And I don't know, it was an okay reading day. It could have been much better, but it's fine. I think I just hit 12 hours, and I plan on reading, I only have like half an hour left I'm like halfway through the hour of Sword in the Stone in order to hit like the next hour mark, so that will make me at 13 for the day, which, I mean, is probably one of the worst that I've done on a weekend for the readathon so far, but I don't know, I'm in the home stretch, and I I have plenty of time to finish everything. But as for tonight, yeah, it's 11 now, so I think I'm going to just listen to the little bit left in The Sword and the Stone. I did clean. I hung up all the laundry, Christopher's and mine, and folded everything. So almost all of that is done. I just need to put away a few more things. So, like, I have finally been productive. I felt like such a slug today, and I don't know where my day went because I just feel like I did nothing and accomplished nothing and felt like garbage all day. And my neck was starting to hurt a little bit again, and I just was not having, like, the best day, like, emotionally for some reason. But I feel much better now that, like, I hit my goal. I finished five things today. Oh my word. So, like, I did get a lot of things completed, and I read some books that have been on my list to read for a long time, so that's good as well. But let's fill in my bullet journal and my charts. Looking at my chart, let me see. So I have an E in divination, an E in herbology, an O in history, magic, muggle studies, potions, transfiguration, charms, care of magical creatures, and then I also have E's in arithmetic, astronomy, and defense against the dark arts. And then I just need to get my A in ancient runes, and I'll have all of those completed as well. So I should say it's doing pretty good. I'm really happy with how this is looking, and I'm finally not stressed at all, which is very nice. My major confusion I've figured out. So basically, I've been listening to The Sword and the Stone, and I was like trying to like follow along a bit, and I could not find where I was. I never struggle with finding where I am. It's so easy to find your place in books. And I was struggling and struggling and struggling. And Hoopla doesn't like let you know how many chapters you are through, and I didn't want to start skipping around the audiobook. So I was just like, whatever. And then after the whole big scene with Madam Mim, I found my place, is because that chapter was removed. So I was like reading about it. I was like, there's gotta be different versions or something, because, or they like move the sequence and events around or something's different. And I looked it up, and there is, I can leave the link down below if you want to look at it, but the thing that I'm looking at is at seymourbell.wordpress.com, and they're talking about all the different changes that they made in the book. That it was originally changed when published in America, and then changed again when T.H. White wanted to make the book more anti-war than it was originally. So, anyway, I have read more than this, but not really, because the section that I listened to was not. So I am glad that I'm listening. I must not have listened to this version when I originally read the book. I think I listened to it when I originally read it, although I physically read. I even grabbed my other copy of The Once and Future King. This is the copy that I read out of when I was in high school reading this, and it was funny because I was flipping through it, and I found I'd made like some equations in the book for some reason. I have no idea why. But I was looking through the book the other day, and I was like, why did I write in my copy? I don't know. I was a strange child. But I was trying to see, and this is the same edition as this. It's like the post, it's the post 58 edition. So if you want to read the scene with Madam Mim, you have to get a pre 58 edition, apparently, which I'm glad that I get to listen to the scene with Madame Mim, because Madame Mim is hilarious, and I don't remember the Madame Mim scene when I originally read the book years ago. I remember reading it and being like, oh, Madame Mim wasn't part of the book? That's depressing. No, she is. They just took her out because it was like too scandalous or something. I really wish that they would not censor books. That is so frustrating. So anyway, I still experienced it, but I was so confused for a while. I figured out that there was something funky going on with the books, probably like, I don't know, at like 1, maybe earlier than that. Like, it's been like 10 hours at least since I was like, oh, this is really weird, but I'm not gonna deal with it right now, but I just did, and I'm glad I figured out what was going on, but like, I wish it would, like, on the cover page or whatever, stick, like, the blah 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 text, like the 1958 text, the whatever the original publication year was, the 1938 text, or something like that. So I guess if you want to find an edition of the pre-text, of the, like, original text, if you want to find, like, a physical copy, I guess they're anywhere from like $50 to a couple $1,000. So thankfully, whoever made this audiobook was like, no, we're going to use the original. But good luck with that, y'all. And be warned, in case you want to read The Sword in the Stone, that apparently they changed it. And if you, apparently, is what this blog said, but if you get a copy of the Once and Future Keen, since it was only edited together after he had revised stuff in books 2 and book 3, that this, if you ever get a copy of this, it will always, no matter what edition it is, it will always have the edited text. So be aware, you may have to buy like the single version of The Sword in the Stone if you want the fabulous Madame Mim. And that scene was really funny, and I really liked it, so I recommend reading that at least. And there's like a couple other changes that they've made in the book. I just haven't gotten that far yet. So that's a thing, and I'm glad I finally figured out what was going on, because I was like, this is so trippy, and I did not remember it from the first time, so I read some edited version. I mean, it is interesting to read the edited version after to like see why, but literally the big edit for this is they just cut out like 10 pages. Like, did that really make the book so much better when it was really great content that you cut out? I don't know, but it's now almost midnight, and I listened to a bit more of it. I listened to almost a whole nother hour. I'm just really enjoying it because it's so funny and so engaging, and I love all the characters. Merlin is so funny, and I'm having a really good time with it. I'm just glad I figured out what the frick was going on. I feel like this scene at the beginning of chapter 8 is just like epitomizes why I'm enjoying this book so much, but I love it. So to sum up bits of it and read my favorite parts, Wart dragged off to the tower room. It's raining outside. Wart dragged off to the tower room where Merlin was busy knitting himself a woolen nightcap for the winter. I cast off 2 together at every other line, said the magician, but for some reason it seems to end too sharply, like an onion. It is the turning of the heel that does one every time. And then they go on and start having a conversation, and Wart wants to be turned into a bird, and Merlin's like, it's raining outside, dummy, don't be a bird, that would be stupid. So they're just like quibbling with each other, and then Wart sits down. After several minutes he said, is one allowed to speak as a human being, or does the thing about being seen and not heard have to apply? Everybody can speak, says Merlin. That's good, because I wanted to mention that you've been knitting your beard into the nightcap for 3 rows now. Well, I should think the best thing to do would be cut off the end of your beard. Shall I fetch some scissors? Why didn't you tell me before? I wanted to see what would happen. You run a grave risk, my boy, said the magician, of being turned into a piece of bread and toasted. I think that's like my favorite like threat I've ever heard ever. You run the grave risk of being turned into a piece of bread and toasted. I don't know, it's just, maybe it's not everybody's humor, but it's 100% my humor, and I just laugh at like almost everything Merlin says. He's a riot. Anyway, still enjoying this. It's dark in here now. I just have like the closet light on, but I'm gonna go to bed now. Chris is still working on the vlog. I think he's doing final edits, and then I can watch it tomorrow before I go to work, and then we can get it exporting and stuff. I'm excited to see what he's done with it though, because when I went in there earlier, he wouldn't let me look at the screen. He's like, I'm working on something you're not allowed to see. Because I was just trying to go in there and kiss him, and he was like, nope, get out. So whenever he does that, I know there's like some really funny part he's adding in. But time for some more reading and possibly YouTube as I try to fall asleep. You would think that this fridge never stops yelling, I swear. I try to cut it out and not talk over it as much as possible, but it likes to do it. Anyway, it's Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon now. Chris made jalapeno poppers again. It's 1:30 and I have to leave for work like in 10 minutes. So I just finished getting ready, and I woke up this morning at like 8. And then I spent over 2 hours like watching the vlog and making a couple edits and like finding the like thumbnails and all this stuff. I did quite a bit to it, although Chris spent so much time on it this week. He really did. Thank you, the best.
You're welcome.
And so that was a thing that I did all my morning doing. And then I was really tired since I didn't get like a ton of sleep last night, so then I went back to bed for a bit. So now I need to leave. I feel like kind of like garbage. So hopefully it will be a good day. I don't know. I'm not on register at all today, so I think I'll do alright, because I seem to usually do better on info as long as my favorite manager is manager, because then it's always a good time. Anyway, so I need to leave and eat. And all I've read today so far is like 2 hours of King Arthur, Sword in the Stone. You know what I'm talking about. The crickets are so loud. It is actually now 12:30 a.m. I didn't vlog at all today, I'm sorry. I didn't really read much either though. I read, I think I've read like 3 hours of the Sword in the Stone, either 3 or 4 hours of that. I think only 3 though. And I reached the next hour mark in Old Man's War. And that's it. And it's obviously very late. I'm getting pretty tired. I ended up, when I came home from work, I don't know, I was feeling just kind of cruddy all day and felt kind of cruddy after work, so I just came home and live streamed because I wanted to like organize my TBR and update like my series tracker and stuff like that. I'm pretty behind, but I think I can catch up in September if I really put my mind to it. But basically, in order to like meet my goal for the year, which was to read every series that I currently had ongoing, and I only needed to read like 1 a week, but I've been doing so bad with it. Actually, it was like one every like 5 days or something. Like, it wasn't like 1 a week, but now I have to read 1 every 3 days for the rest of the year to finish, and some of them are really long, so I don't know if I'm gonna meet that goal, but I was like just wanting to figure out stuff like that. So I ended up live streaming for a couple hours, and it was a lot of fun. But now it's time to go to bed and wash my face and hopefully get a lot of reading done tomorrow so that I can finish up all the things that I have going on for NEWTs. I'm so close to completing my TBR. I'm so close. Alright, so here's the thing. It's now a Sunday. It's 1:15. I've been up since like 8, but I've barely read at all. I woke up and then I was doing stuff on the computer, and basically I've been on the computer all day for the most part. I have listened to audiobooks a little bit. I was like filling out a spreadsheet for my sisters and I, so basically we all share library cards, but then sometimes books are checked out and we like multiple people want to read it, so instead of having to like be like, oh, I checked this book out, does anyone interested in reading it, should I return it, blah blah blah, I just made a spreadsheet, put all the books in it. There's 70 of them. It was getting overwhelming. So there's like almost 70 of them, and so then I've written them all out. And then once everyone's done, they can just check it off, and then if everybody's fine with it, then we'll just return it. So that's what's going on. I did finish The Sword in the Stone. this was quite different. This version was quite different. I found like another chapter or so that was like completely cut out, like about the snake, I guess, and I actually quite liked that part. It almost reminded me of like Alice in Wonderland when she's like walking through and talking to all like the strange characters. Like that's what it reminded me of, and then like telling really weird wacko stories. Anyway, the parts of the Sword in the Stone that I liked, I really loved, and then the parts that I either didn't care about or were less interesting or were problematic were just like very like meh to me. Like obviously the problematic things weren't meh, they were like, oh, that's not good, but like I don't know, for the time it was written, it was like, I don't know, they just said something about like how it was like okay that what's his face, Sir Hector, like had slaves, like white slaves, but had slaves because they were living better, like, anyway. Like, they wouldn't have been living as well if they weren't slaves. And I'm like, and just, like, things like that. I don't know. Anyway, I did like it. I think I'm going to settle on 3 stars. Like I said, the things that I liked, I really, really loved. Like, a lot of the humor. Almost any part with Merlin or Archimedes was wonderful. And I found Kay to be a lot more, Kay and Sir Hector to both be a lot more, like, sympathetic characters, especially Kay in the book versus the movie. In the movie, they're kind of turds. I don't know. It was very up and down for me. Like, the parts that I was enjoying, I was, like, so sucked into it and, like, really, really loved. And then the parts that I found less engaging, I just, like, I feel like I almost zoned out of and, like, missed a lot of it because I was just like, this is less than fun. So, anyway, I think I'm going to settle on 3 stars. Some of it was fantastic, some of it was meh. I've also started Oversea Under Stone by Susan Cooper. I'm like maybe a third of the way into it, maybe a little bit further. This is the first book in the Dark is Rising sequence, so it counts for my book with the word dark in the title or series title. I don't know, it's really weird. Some of it is reminding me of like the Pevensies, some of the things that the kids are doing, but it's just like, it's another like Arthurian tied into it legend thing. And I don't know, like nothing about it has like super gripped me so far. Some of the things are very like simplistic about it, and some of the things they're saying, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you can like tell this was written like over 50 years ago. But I don't know, it's fine so far. I should be able to finish it up today. It's very short. I think the audiobook's about 7 hours, so this is the goal. To finish this, to get a little bit further into Old Man's War. I finished Sword in the Stone, and then I'd also really like to finish Hatter M. My neck doesn't hurt right now, so I'll probably do that soonish, hopefully. That's the goal, but I've been horrible at vlogging. I think I've just kind of like lost steam a little bit. It's almost like I've been less engaged with the book, so I've been like less engaged with vlogging, because I'm like, oh, the books that I don't care about, I feel less inclined to like update. Anyway, I've completed another challenge, which is great though, and I only have, I think, one more full book to go, and then like 4 like books that I'm partway through already. Alright, so it's now 2 p.m. and I just finished reading Mad with Wonder, the second book in the Hatter M graphic novel series. I don't know, I enjoyed the first part, but I didn't like the second half at all, so I would probably end up giving it 2 stars. Overall, I was pretty disappointed by this. A lot of the things were really irritating me in the second half, and I just lost interest at the halfway mark. Probably around right here is when I like stopped caring. I don't know, the second volume didn't seem to be nearly as wordy as volume 1 was, at least, which volume 1, I feel like it took me forever to read because it was so wordy, and this one at least didn't suffer from that. I did end up skipping like all the material in the back though. There's like a ton of like extra just pages full of stuff, and I kind of like skipped through it, but I just don't feel like continuing on. I'm really disappointed, dang it, because I really enjoyed volume 1. And I really love this series. I love the Looking Glass Wars. It's so good. I was just disappointed. I will try volume 3 and see if it gets better. But dang it, I just love Hatter so much that this was So disappointing. And that ended up counting for a book set in the past is what I've decided to go with. So there's 2 challenges down. Let's see if I can finish 1 or 2 more things today. Alright, so it is now 3 p.m. and I just finished reading Sparkle Witch by Helen Harper. I wasn't sure if I actually wanted to finish reading this book, but then I decided, why the fluff not? And it was dumb. I don't know. It was just so pointless. There was no reason for this to exist at all. The plot was dumb and pointless, and I just didn't enjoy anything about it. But this does count for a challenge of reading a book that is not the first in a series. This is book 3.5 in the series, so I just completed a 3rd challenge, yay! Which is part of the reason why I decided to read it, plus I just didn't want to, like, leave it hanging there forever, because I feel like I would feel guilty. I'm glad I finally read it. I don't recommend reading it. I do recommend the rest of the series, especially books 1, 2, and 3 are really fun and great. This one just, there was no reason for it to exist. So there's another challenge, and let's see if I can finish 1 more book today, or see how far I can get in it. Alright, so this is how it's looking so far. I just have to finish 1, 2, 3, and they're all O's. So I'm really freaking close, and it's looking marvelous. I'm easy peasy, but I'm just so proud of myself. Anyway, update, progress, woo, yay! Alright, so it is now 6:15, and I have been reading Sun and Moon, Ice and Snow by Jessica Day George. This is a standalone retelling of East of the Sun and West of the Moon. Chris is making dinner, so he's banging the cupboards. Anyway, I am liking it so far a lot, and I am 3 hours out of the 7, so I'm almost at the halfway point. I need half an hour more, but I'm liking it, and I'm hoping to be able to finish it tonight, or be able to finish either one of these tonight. I just kind of wasn't in the mood for this one anymore. I don't know, the thing is, it's just like, they're so dumb, and they keep making really stupid decisions and doing really stupid things, and I want to slap them, because they're so stupid. So I don't feel like reading about stupid characters. So like I'm a pretty good chunk of the way through. I could finish it up pretty quickly, but I'm so annoyed. But now I'm gonna go help Chris with dinner, and yeah, hopefully I can get either or both of those done tonight, and then all I need to focus on is Old Man's War, which I'm not really in the mood for right now. I don't really think I'm in the science fiction mood, but 1 book left. I can push through. I could do it, so it's fine. And I do really want to read more John Scalzi. I just don't know if it's like the perfect timing for me. Alright, so it is now 10 p.m. and I just finished listening to Sun and Moon, Ice and Snow by Jessica Day George. I really liked it a lot. So as I mentioned, it's a retelling of East of the Sun and West of the Moon, which, like, I know there's like some problems with that fairy tale, but there is with like every fairy tale. And I really like it, despite all that, so it's one of my favorites to read retellings from, and I really enjoyed this one. I think it might be my favorite out of all of them, potentially. I don't know. I'm currently rereading. I put it on hold for the readathon, because I didn't want to read any partial books for this readathon, but I was going to pick it back up next month, as I'm currently rereading East by Edith Pateau, and so after I finish rereading this one, I can let you guys know which one I like better. But I really liked a lot of the things that they did with this one, and I just loved the main character. She doesn't have a name, she's just called the Lass, but I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good retelling, and it hit like all the marks while still like adding its own layers in, and I just really enjoyed it. So if you want to read another East of the Sun, West of the Moon retelling, I really recommend it. And really enjoying this one. I'm very excited to go and reread her like 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, because I read it a few years ago and I didn't like it. It's not that I didn't like it, I was just bored. And so now I'm excited to go reread it, and maybe I'll like appreciate it more this time. I think I just like ended up, I don't know, I did a lot of like weird reading things when I was younger, and I feel like I just didn't get out of it what I would today. So I'm excited to reread that one, because I feel like I'm more often disappointed by 12 Dancing Princesses retellings than I am by East retellings. I'm excited to continue on with this one next month. I currently have on hold at the library for it, but this was, I don't know, it was a lot of fun, and I really liked all the like background information on everything, and I liked her relationship with her brother, and I just thought it was a whole lot of fun. So that's good. I've finished another book, yeah, so I only have 2 left to go. I don't know, I'm really not like jazzed about the idea of like picking this book up again, so I think maybe I'll like do this tomorrow, and maybe tonight I'll try to get a little bit further in Old Man's War. Or maybe I'll choose something else to read besides Old Man's War, because I'm just not in the mood. Which makes me sad, because I really want to read it, but I just don't think it's, for me, the perfect timing. So maybe I will listen to a little bit more of this and see if there's like another one I'd rather read. Either way, I'm still very glad that I was able to like read this whole book today, and I'm even more happy that I enjoyed it, because I haven't enjoyed my last reads like this one and the other one, you know which one, Sparkle Witch. I didn't enjoy either of those, so I'm glad I finally really liked one. So it is now 11 p.m. and I've decided what I'm gonna do. So originally I was trying to think of what I should read for this instead of reading Old Man's War, because I do really want to read it. It's just not in the mood for some reason. And so I was like, I was asking Chris, I was like, oh, would the Pendragon series count? They're actually just right here, the black books down there. And he was like, yeah, they would. And I was like, well, let me see if I like the narrator, and I can decide from that. And so we turn it on, and it's the same narrator for Old Man's War. And I was like, okay, obviously not in the mood for him right now. And so I've decided instead to go with The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm like 30 pages into this so far. I have read this before a couple times, but it's been over 10 years since I read it last. So I'm super excited to reread this. I've been wanting to reread this all year, and I was planning on initially reading it in August, like back in February I determined on that. And so now I can read it, and it's perfect timing. And then also from the beginning of the year, I've been planning on reading The Lord of the Rings this fall, so I'm thinking I'm going to try to do that in October, and I'm just really excited. I was originally going to read this in the middle of September, so I'm just bumping it forward a couple weeks, which is fine, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know, I've been enjoying reading these older fantasy books recently, like The Sword and the Stone and The Princess and the Goblin, and something I've noticed from them is just like, I guess because like they're some of the earliest of their time, that the authors can just do whatever they want with them, because there's no like rules yet. So some of the things that they say, like there's a lot in The Sword and the Stone, like it uses a ton of like very modern like words and phrases and things and the references people make and everything, because he just was doing whatever he wants. But I feel like so often now it's like so much fantasy, there's like super serious or super funny, and like nobody can just like slip things in like these other authors do, like the Goblins having a prime minister. That just cracks me up and stuff like that. So a quote that I read like a few minutes into this book that I just thought was so funny and that I had to share, because it literally made me laugh out loud. So it's talking about one of Bilbo's like great uncles and it's, he charged the ranks of the goblins of Mount Graham in the Battle of Greenfields and knocked their keen Golfin Bull's head clean off with a wooden club. It sailed 100 yards through the air and went down a rabbit hole. And in this way, the battle was won and the game of golf invented at the same moment. It's ridiculous. It's a pun. Golf and bowl. Like, oh my gosh. And I just laughed. Like, it doesn't matter that we're like in Middle Earth, whatever. Yeah, golf. It's totally fine. I don't know. Things like this just make me laugh so much and give me so much joy. So I'm already really liking it. Gandalf is so funny, and I'm just having a good time reading it. So I'm glad that's happening, and I'm really hoping that I love it this time around. I mean, I'm pretty sure I will, but whatever. By the way, I haven't read the entirety of The Lord of the Rings. I think I read the first like book and a half, like back when I was like 10, and I didn't get much out of it. I feel like most of it went over my head because I was a little young, and so I'm really excited to read the first like book in a bit and then be able to like experience the rest anew. I've only seen the movies twice, but I watched them for the second time actually this year. So I don't know. It's not like something that I've like super grown up on, but I am excited to like get back into this world because, like I said, I haven't picked these books up in like over 10 years. So I'm really enjoying that, and I'm going to listen to a little bit more of that, but since it is 11, I'm going to be going to sleep soon. But I do want to plan out my reading, so I wasn't able to use this particular one. I just got this a few months ago to do my planning, and I really like it. I haven't been able to use it though because my goals for all of August were very large, like on the weekends to read like 14 hours a day and stuff like that. So since I'm going to be majorly cutting down, oh my gosh, the fridge, I'm going to be majorly cutting down like how much I'm planning on reading in like September and the later months, I can go back to using this. So this only has like 10 lines, which is perfect, and I think I'm going to keep that as my goal for the weekends from now on. So I'm going to plan out my week right here in this, and then call it a night. So my goals for the week are to obviously finish The Hobbit, finish Over Sea, Under Sky, read most of Priceless. This is like a nonfiction book, I think, about a guy that like studies cases of like art pieces going missing, something along that. It's for my sister's book club, so I'm not 100% sure what it is. And then A Dragon's Guide to Making Your Humans Smarter I'd like to finish. I'd like to finish The Search for the Red Dragon by James A. Owen, which is the second book in the Chronicles of the Imaginarium Geographica. And then I would like to start The Mysterious Benedict Society and The Perilous Journey. And then also start Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. So those are my goals for the week. I think I'm going to write my goals on this other side, or I don't know. Yeah, I'll write them on the other side. My goals, and then whatever I surpass, I can like mark over here. I also wanted to update my book bingo. So these are my book bingos. I'm done. So I thought it would be very satisfying to finally cross off that read a book, which I quite enjoyed. Well, I hated the read a book. I quite enjoyed the Harlequin category romance, and the one-word title was Landline, which I really enjoyed. Mermaids, I ended up DNFing that book, but I'm still counting it because, yeah. I read, that was fun, The Paranormal Firefighters, the Ocean Eyes, The Highwaymen by Kelly Byrne, and I really liked that. Queer plus historical was Lair of Dreams by Libby Bray, which was also good, and then Time Travel with Landline. So, I did pretty good with the rest of those, and now they're all crossed off. I feel so happy, so satisfying. I did really well with the book bingos this summer. I wasn't sure if I would get them all, and I'm really, really glad that I went for it, and I did. And now finally for updating today's stuff. So it is now, what day is it? Monday? It's Monday night. It's 11:30 and yeah, I didn't read it all today. I maybe got an hour through The Hobbit this morning listening to it while like getting ready, but I had a really bad day. It's not great. And I had to put my priority on other things besides reading. I don't think I'll read it all tomorrow either. I should be able to finish my 2 books either by or on Friday, but don't expect too many updates over the next few days though, because I don't see it happening. Hopefully I can read a little bit more before the readathon ends so that I can actually finish. That would be really sucky if I didn't finish. I definitely will finish. Just I was expecting to finish today and it didn't happen. So it's Tuesday night now. I am feeling a lot better today than I was yesterday, but I didn't end up reading much because I was working on some things, like the things I was talking about yesterday, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot more positive than I was yesterday, let's just say. But I did manage to get an hour further through Oversea Under Stone. I hate it so much. I don't think all the characters in this book combined don't even have like an ounce of common sense between them. They're all freaking idiots. And then I'm probably like an hour or 2 further, I'm not exactly sure, I haven't checked, but hour or 2 further in The Hobbit, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's so fun and so funny, and I'm just having a blast reading this. Every time I pick it up, I just like get all like happy and smiley, and just like, oh, it's so good. So those are my 2 current reads, and I'm making a little bit of progress, sure. Slow but steady. Tomorrow, I think Chris and I are thinking of trying to go to the beach once more because it's supposed to be like 95 tomorrow. I think it's supposed to get close to 100 tomorrow. And so we're thinking that would be the perfect time to go. It's been so hot the past few days. And so I think we're going to try to go. And then Thursday, I think Christopher is planning on going to the movies because a movie is coming out that he's interested in. So I'll probably have more time to read that night as well. But eventually I'll finish these 2 before the month is over, but I'm not making huge progress, which is fine. Other things need to take priority right now. Alright, so it is Wednesday the 29th now. Chris and I are on our way to the beach again. It's really hot today. I think today is supposed to be the hottest day of the year. Is that right?
I mean, we're in a heat wave right now. It's the hottest day that we have had so far. It's unlikely that it'll get hotter from here, but
yeah, it's very, very hot right now. How does it say how hot it is? So it's 94 degrees outside right now, which like I grew up in like 94, 100, 105, 110 weather. It's not even just that though, it's just like the humidity.
Yeah, I was looking at the weather thing earlier and it's like, yes, it's like still in the 90s, but it feels much hotter because of the humidity. And it sucks.
It's like when you step outside, you're just like instantly like drenched in sweat. It's not pleasant. So going and sitting in some water sounds awesome right now. So anyway, reading update. I don't know, I made a little bit more progress in Oversea Under Stone. I have 40 minutes left. I hate it. I'm just really not enjoying it, but I do want to finish because the thing is that I've just heard that the series gets better after the first book and stuff like that, so like I want to continue on with it, but I'm enjoying it so little. And I was showing this to Chris as well. The narrator is pretty not great, and he doesn't like enunciate his words at all. And so when you speed him up, if you speed him up past like 1.7, 1.8, he's like unintelligible if he's past that, which is ridiculous because some narrators are completely understandable at 3 times speed. And he's not even understandable past like 1.7. And I was like showing Chris, and he was like, I can't. He's like, I can pick out like random words, and that's it. I had him at like 2 times speed, and Chris is like, I can't understand him. And then I showed him like 2 other narrators at 2 times speed, and he was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, this is just obnoxious. So I'm also not enjoying it because I'm not going as quickly through it, and I'm just like, please, can we finish this horrible story about horrible people being dumb, and I hate it. So that's my reading update, and I haven't read any of The Hobbit today, but I figured like as soon as I push through and finish my horrible book, then I can just like bask in the wonderfulness of The Hobbit for the next few days. And then tomorrow is my last day of work before like my weekend, because I have Friday off, and so after one more day of work, then I'll be able to really just like go full ham, I guess, into the book, which will be nice, and I'll just like really be able to like read the whole thing in practically 1 or 2 days. So it's Thursday the 30th now. Last night when we got home from swimming, after like taking showers and making dinner and stuff like that, like I think actually while Chris was making dinner, I ended up finishing up finally the Oversea Under Stone by Susan Cooper. I hated it. I don't know. I'm gonna continue on to book 2 and see if it's better, because I've heard book 2 is much better. But I genuinely detested this. It was so boring, and nobody had any common sense. It was so frustrating. I'm like, yeah, I know you're supposed to be like 10, but why are you so stupid? Yeah, I didn't like it. So that's done. So that counted for a book or a series with dark in the title. This is the Dark is Rising sequence, is a series name. So now I only have to finish up The Hobbit, which I think I have 7 hours left of the audiobook for this. I don't plan on finishing it today, maybe tomorrow, which will be the last day of the readathon. I was like so far ahead, and then I've stretched these last 2 books out. I just haven't been reading, so I didn't even listen to any of this yesterday, but I'm excited to continue on. I've listened to a tiny bit this morning, and then this morning also, since I finished. So basically, what's been going on, I don't think I ever explained. This is Christopher's old phone that ended up breaking a few months ago, and like the screen is all shattered. I don't know if you can even see it. So this is his old phone, and I've been using it. He let me use it for the past few days. There, you can see like how shattered it is. He let me use this for the past few days because I can't, on Apple, the Apple Audible app sucks so much. And they don't let you like choose your speed. You can either do like 1, 1.25, 1.5, 2, or 3, which like those are 2 huge leaps. Where on this, it lets him choose, I don't know if it lets him choose like 0.5s, but you can do like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 1.9, whatever. So that's what I've been doing. I've been listening to The Hobbit at like 1.75. Like 1.5 was too slow, and 2 was way too fast. So I knew I wasn't gonna enjoy it at either speed. And so this one, I'm actually enjoying it at like the perfect speed that I want to listen to it at. So since it's on Audible, that's what I've been doing, because the Android Audible app doesn't suck. I don't know why they do that. It's so stupid, and I feel the frustration that I feel like usually like Android people feel, where often the Apple app is so much better, and it's the other way around. And it's been like that since I started listening on Audible, which I've had my Audible account since February of 2014, so it's been like 4.5 years, and they've never changed it to a good speed thing, because so often I want to listen at like 2.25 and I can't. It's like either 2 or 3. Ugh, so frustrating. Anyway, so that's what's been going on for the past few days. I've been listening on this, but since I also want something on my normal phone, just in case like I need to have something going on this, I just started Royal Assassin. This does not count for the readathon at all, and there's not a freaking chance in heck I'll finish it before the readathon's over, since it's 700 pages. They look like they're pretty close to the same size. Like this is 300, maybe this one's like 400. No, it's like so long. But I'm now like 30 minutes into that. I'm planning on making like slow but steady progress on this for over the next few weeks. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I listened to book 1 back in 2015, so it's been quite a few years, but I think it's time I finally like continued on. So that's what's going on. Those are the plans for the day, to like get further in The Hobbit, to get further into Royal Assassin, and maybe start another book. Anyway, I didn't even say, it's 8:20 now. I have to leave for work in like 20 minutes, I guess. I'm making my lunch right now. It's on the stove. And yeah, I'm just trying to get like all ready to go. And I should probably do my hair because it's kind of a mess. So it is Thursday night now. It is like 9:30, and obviously I've been home for a while. I went and got sushi with a friend of mine. She's leaving to do like a study abroad. She leaves a week from tomorrow. So we went out and it was a lot of fun, and the sushi was delicious, and it was just good talking. So I did that, and then Chris got me from there around like maybe 6:20, so we've been home for a couple hours. Chris went to go see a movie. I don't remember what it's called. He sees so many, but I'm sure he'll tell me about it when he gets home. It started at like 7:45, so he'll probably be texting me at any time in the next like half hour to 45 minutes. I've made some really good progress on The Hobbit today. I've listened to 3 hours of it. I passed the halfway mark, and I'm now 190 pages through, and it's nearly 300. I have just under 100 pages left. So yeah, I definitely won't finish it tonight. I'm getting kind of hit with tiredness, but I've been like looking at like library books on the computer for the last little bit while listening to it, because I wanted to like finish using up like my Hoopla borrows. If you don't know how Hoopla works, you just get like a certain amount of credits every month, and they expire like and start over on the 1st of the month. And so I'm using them right now, even though it's the 30th instead of the 31st, so I can like finish using them up, so then they'll get replenished in a couple days anyway. So I finished using those up, and I was like checking like what was available on Overdrive, which there's no like credits on there. You can borrow however much you want, versus Hoopla. So I borrowed a couple things. I had 6 credits left to use, so I used all 6 of those, and hopefully I can get to those books in the next 21 days before they expire. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. It hasn't been very exciting. I'm just listening to The Hobbit and really enjoying it. I'm just having such a fun time with this. I don't know, I'm laughing a lot, and I don't know, like Bilbo is such an interesting character. Like, he's kind of a brat, but he's also like really funny, and I can like relate to him in a lot of ways. So I'm just enjoying this, and that's been my day. Not that exciting. Work was pretty good as well. I ended up just like being on info all day, and I helped a lot of people with gift stuff, which normally I don't. Normally, like whenever anybody asks about gifts at all, there's always someone else I can pass them off to, because I don't know anything about the gifts. And today, all the questions I asked, I knew all the answers to, so that was interesting, and I helped so many people with like gifts. It was interesting. I feel very proud of myself about it, because like I said, normally I'm just like, someone else take this, because I have no clue. And also, like before, like the months leading up to like December, people are allowed to like stick like a box in the back for like Christmas presents. But it doesn't have to just be Christmas presents. So I started my box today of stuff that I wanted just for myself, because I'm the worst. And oh my gosh, there's so many things, because she's bringing in all like the fall items, and they're so beautiful, and it's all these like gorgeous like red tones and everything, and I'm dying. I put some really cool stuff in my box, like a Cheshire Cat like mug that I've been wanting for years, and she has it. And there's this really cool mug as well that has like spines of fantasy novels on it. It is beautiful. It's kind of expensive, but it's so pretty, and you can just like tell like the love that went into like making it. And I don't know, I just put some really cool things in my box that I'm very excited about, and like toeless tights, which is really nice because whenever I wear tights, if for whatever reason I put a pair of socks on top of that, like say it's just like extra cold or my shoes are a little big so I want to like bulk them up or whatever, if I put an extra pair of socks on top, it always like really ends up like hurting my toes for some reason. I guess like the double layer of pressure for whatever reason. So like toeless tights is genius because then you can just put a pair of socks on and then your toes won't feel smashed. So I'm really excited to try those, and they're like really cute. Anyway, I had fun shopping for myself today. Actually, I think I started my box yesterday, and so after work yesterday, after I clocked out, I just like walked around and like picked out some of the things that I wanted, but I found several more today just like while walking through. So I'd like grabbed them and piled them at the information desk and then like went and put them in my box. And Nicole was like, oh my goodness, Giselle, you need to calm down. And I'm like, I can't help it. And she's ordering like a few things in like specifically for me. Like she has these really cute leggings from the Magic Scarf Company, and I have like 4 pairs and I love them. They're incredible, and she is gonna order me in like specific patterns that I want that are really cute, which she's very nice to do that. She was gonna do an order. I asked her, I was like, oh, when are you ordering those next? And she's like, oh, today or tomorrow. And I'm like, oh good, let me give you a list. And then yeah, I went a little crazy today. I haven't bought anything yet. I'm gonna like wait and maybe just like buy like 1 or 2 things every week or so and just like slowly like treat myself with these things. She's just putting out all the beautiful things. Anyway, I'm gonna keep listening to my audiobook and probably continue messing around on the computer for a little bit longer, but I'm also getting really tired, so I'll probably go to sleep soon. NEWTs ends tomorrow, and I'll definitely finish. I mean, I have 4 hours left of The Hobbit, and so that will only take a little bit of time, and I'm just having a good time with it. I'm really enjoying it. So it's Friday morning, the 31st, the last day of the readathon, and here's the plan for today. So I'm gonna do my makeup right now, and it's like 7:40 maybe? Yeah, 7:50. So I'm gonna do my makeup. I don't have work today, so I'm going to go to the library first thing this morning, and then check out the books that are gonna get like returned. They're like, what's the word I'm looking for? I have them out on like interlibrary loan, and they're gonna send them back if I don't go pick them up today. So I'm gonna go pick up the books that I need to today and get that done, and then I'm gonna listen to an audiobook while I'm doing that and stuff. Chris is gonna drop me off there on his way to work this morning, and then I'm gonna walk back home, which is only, I don't know, maybe like a 15-minute walk, so it's fine. But I don't feel like walking there and back if I don't have to, so Chris is gonna drop me off. So I'm gonna do that, and then the rest of the day is just gonna be reading. I don't really have anything I need to do today, just a lot of things I want to do today, so I'm gonna try to do that. And library's first thing now, and I'm very excited about going. I might like take my sweet old time there and see if there's anything else I feel like picking up, and yeah, hopefully it'll be good times. I'm picking up books that I'm gonna be trying to read in September, like physical books that I'm gonna try to be reading in September. I just haven't been in like a physical reading mood, and maybe it's the books I'm trying to read. Like I was trying to read Little House on the Prairie, and I'm not feeling it. Like, I don't know. I feel like that feels like more of a winter book to me, so maybe I will try to pick that one back up in like November or December, because I've had it sitting with me, and it's just like, it's very heavy as well, so I don't feel like taking it with me when I leave the house. But the other books I'm going to be picking up today, I think I'm much more in the mood for, and I'm very like excited to read, so it'll be good times. Anyway, let's get ready for the day. I just finished listening to The Hobbit. I don't know, I'm crying for some reason. I'm not actually crying, but like my eyes are tearing up. I'm very happy to have finished this. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. It was so great. I don't know, it's another one of those books, almost like with A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, where like it's not a 5-star read right now, but I can see it like becoming that with like multiple rereads. Same thing that happened with like Howl's Moving Castle. Like originally it wasn't a 5-star read, but then I just loved it and kept coming back to it. I'm like, okay, this is a 5-star read for me. It just took a while to get there. And I feel like that's what this is going to become. It was just, I loved it. It was so great. So I finished my NEWTs. I got all 36. I read in its entirety 36 books, excluding Lair of Dreams, which I only read like two-thirds of, 3/4 of, something like that. Since it's a 600-page book, I read over like 350 pages of it. It's okay. So I guess I read a little bit more than half, so closer to like 2/3 of it. I'm gonna count it, but everything else, yeah, it was a really good reading month. It definitely slowed down at the end, and I'm sure it got a little bit like boring at the end for you guys to watch, but I had a really great time doing this. I'm so glad I participated. I was like explaining it to my friend who I went out to eat with last night, and she was like, that sounds like so much fun. And I'm like, it is so much fun, and that's why I like to do readathons. I tend to like try to like do too much and stress myself out. And then Chris is always like, well, why do you do it if you're stressing yourself out? Because it's fun. It's like fun stress. Anyway, I figured I'd quickly do a quick library haul before I end this up. These are all books that I'm planning on reading in the first like couple weeks of September. It's crazy that we're in September. Heart of Steel by Mel Jean Brooke. This is the second book in the Iron Seas series. I really hated the first one, but I really love steampunk, so I'm going to try the second one. I thought the world was interesting in that, but there is like a rape scene that is passed off as a love scene, and it skeeved me out and I couldn't finish the book because of it. The Search for the Red Dragon, Chronicles of the Imaginarium Geographica, Book 2 by James A. Owen. I really love the first one, but I need to continue on to the second book. I've heard it's not as good, so I'm a little bit wary. Midnight Pleasures by Eloisa James. Another one where I really didn't like the first one, but I love Eloisa James, so I'm going to try this one. I will not be surprised if this is a DNF, though. A Dragon's Guide to Making Your Humans Smarter by Lawrence Yep and Joanne Ryder. This is the second book in the Dragon's Guide series, and I liked the first one. I read it back in 2015, and I don't remember a ton about it, but I feel like I remember enough, and I didn't even know that there weren't even other books set to be released when I did end up reading it, so I like didn't continue on with it because I didn't know that was a thing. And then I figured out there were sequels, and I was like, okay, I'll try them. We'll see how that one goes. So those are all going to be audiobooks, and then the 2 physical books that I got are Soulless the Manga Volume 2 and Soulless the Manga Volume 3. And these are, I read the first one, it was probably, I think it was 2016. It might have been 2015 though. But I've only read the first 3 books in the series, so I figured if I read 2 and 3 of the manga, then I can finally continue on and read 4 and 5 of the series and finish up the series. That would be nice, but I really enjoy like the normal books in the series, and I really like Alexia, so Alexia, is that her name? Alexa? Obviously it's been a while since I read these. I'm pretty sure it's Alexa. Anyway, Miss Terabody. I'm excited to continue on with these, and they're both like manga, so it will be like a very fast read since it's mostly pictures. So I'm excited to get to those, but those are all plans for next month. So I guess what's going to happen is I'm going to fill out my bullet journal and end this, and then I'm going to start another vlog right now for September, and I think I'm going to start doing weekly reading vlogs. They might not be up until a little while after, and they won't be nearly as extensive as my NEWTs vlogs have been, but I've really enjoyed doing these, and as long as Christopher is like willing to help me, I'm going to keep doing them. And if I'm not doing like a crazy like amount of reading like I have been, then I can also like spend time actually like editing, and I can do some of the editing myself and just have him help with like clever ideas and things like that. By the time this is up, there will be a live show that went up on the 2nd, I guess, on Sunday. I will have done a live show going over all the NEWTs that I did, if I succeeded, which I obviously did, and like going over all the books, because I don't want to reiterate all the challenges in books, but that will be a thing. The chord's in the way, I'm so professional. So I'm not going to reiterate it here, but I guess that's it. I got 12 O's. I've completed. I won NEWTs. And this means whatever readathon she has next, I will be able to do everything for if I so choose. I think she's going to have one like related to like figuring out like what your profession's going to be or something. I'm guessing. I think she like mentioned something along the sorts. But if she does, I can be whatever I want. Although, I don't know what I'd want to be. I don't think a lot of like the professions in the wizarding world sound appealing to me. Yeah, none of them sound appealing to me like at all. So... but I can be anything I want to be, because apparently I'm smarter than Hermione, because I got all my O's. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and coming along this journey with me. I had so much fun. I hope you did as well, and I will see you in my next vlog, which will hopefully be very soon. Bye everyone.